Thank you, Mark. The ancient holy city of Teotihuacan is situated some 30 miles northeast of Mexico City. It was built between the 1st and 7th centuries, characterized by the vast size of its monuments, in particular the Temple of Quetzalcoatl and the pyramids of the sun and the moon, making it one of the most powerful cultural centers in Mesoamerica at the time. If you haven't been there, you will have a unique opportunity to see the exclusive exhibit opening today, by the way, at the de Young Museum over in San Francisco. And joining me this morning is Matthew Robb, the exhibit curator, to tell us all about it. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Well, we've been chatting about, well, how excited are you to finally let the people in and check it out?
Oh, it's great. It's one of those projects that when everybody's been working on it behind the scenes for a long time, a number of years, and here we are. It's a really exciting day.
Well, give us a little history lesson on the city itself.
Sure. So Teotihuacan, as you said, it's about an hour's drive northeast of Mexico City, and it was the preeminent urban center of its time around 400 AD. So at that point, it had about 100,000 people living in it, and it was a multi-ethnic city that drew people in from all over ancient Mesoamerica, had a really profound influence on later civilizations as well.
No, it didn't go away, but the culture just kind of eroded over time, right?
Well, there was a big fire around the middle of the 6th century that really limited its power and influence. People still kept living there, tens of thousands of people. It was still a major center, but it wasn't ever quite the same again. And the Aztecs, for instance, who came after Teotihuacan, revered it. They're the ones who gave it the name that we use.
And what does that mean?
Teotihuacan, it's a complicated word to translate, but it's definitely about deities, definitely about gods.
Okay.
So people say it's people who have the road of the gods, the place where gods were born, the place where men become gods.
And we're seeing some of the artifacts that were extracted from underneath the city and around the city.
Yes.
Talk about what we're going to see at the exhibit.
You'll see a combination of materials from the most recent excavations at the site, from the 3 main pyramid projects, so the Pyramid of the Moon, the Pyramid of the Sun, and the Pyramid of Quetzalcoatl, as you said, as well as recent excavations from the residential compounds where people live their everyday lives.
So they're still discovering things.
Oh, absolutely. The city's enormous. It'll be a long, long time before the entire city's excavated, if ever.
And we talked off camera, recent earthquake, did that affect the site at all?
Fortunately, it did not affect the archaeological side of Teotihuacan, although many of our friends and colleagues in Mexico City were very much affected by the earthquake.
Well, you talked about the name itself, and it elicits kind of the gods. Are you think people are going to leave this exhibit just kind of inspired a little bit?
I hope so. There's a really amazing mix of monumental sculpture that'll really knock your socks off, and then there are smaller sculptures that you'll be amazed that people are making these kinds of objects without metal tools. It's a really impressive exhibition.
And the name City of Water, City of Fire, how come?
Well, if you think about an ancient civilization that's working on an agricultural basis, they really need water to grow all the crops, to irrigate the fields, to supply the food for their population. They're also really concerned about extreme weather events like a big thunderstorm or a hailstorm that'll actually destroy some of those crops. The same with fire. Central Mexico is a region of, with volcanic activity, and those events will happen whether you can control them or not.
I'm fascinated. How did they get all these artifacts up here? Such great care. Were they driven? Were they flown? And just getting them into the museum, how are they handled, that kind of thing?
It's a big process. There's a lot of behind the scenes actions that are taking place. So our colleagues at Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, they've been working on this just as hard as everybody at the de Young has for several years now. Everything has to get crated up very carefully, very packaged very softly so that things don't move during transit. They're usually shipped in a combination of techniques between trucks and planes, and then unpacked very carefully. We have a big team of art handlers and conservators watching everything.
I mean, this isn't done over a weekend.
It takes a long time.
You know?
No, it is definitely not done over a weekend. Everybody's been working very hard at the de Young the last few weeks to bring it together for today's events.
And what a great family outing at the de Young.
Absolutely.
For the kids too, just to learn about this culture.
Yeah.
And maybe not touch, but to be so close to it.
To be so close to it. And today there'll be a number of different lectures, some of them in Spanish from some of the archaeologists from the site, and activities for kids as well.
All right, Matthew, I know it's your baby. Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Great to have you in. Let's throw up the full screen, give you all the information you need to know. It starts today at the de Young. It kicks through February the 11th. Golden Gate Park, tickets, how much? $30 for adults, around there?
I think that's right. You can find more information on the website.
On the website. Very good. Well, Matthew, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All the best.